Okay, well, we're at the top of the hour, so I know there will be some more people joining us, but we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. You are here to learn about the Walmart Fast Shipping Program for SellerCloud sellers. We're super excited to introduce you to the program and answer your questions. We want to make sure everybody knows what the program is, how it works, how to get started, so you can start reaping the rewards of this great service. First, a few housekeeping items. My name is Lisa Wise. I support channel and partner development at Walmart, and I'll be your moderator. Sid Sahu is also from Walmart. He's a strategic partner development manager supporting the two-day program. He'll be giving an overview of the program. Esther Nierenberg is an account representative from SellerCloud. She'll discuss how to get set up in the SellerCloud app. And then we'll be hearing from Michael Krakaris, co-founder of Deliverr, with information about their fulfillment service. After their presentations, you can ask a question by typing it in the panel on the right. We ask that you wait until the presentations are over, since they will be answering many of the questions you probably have. A member of the team will respond, and it does get busy, so please be patient and we'll get to you. The team will also be answering some of the questions aloud for the group. After the session, we'll be sending a recording to everyone who registered. So don't worry if you miss something. Without further delay, I'll hand it off to Sid now to get started.
Thanks, Lisa. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our session on Deliverr and SellerCloud and the Walmart partnership. To kick things off, I'd like to just go over a quick overview of Walmart two-day shipping, talk a little bit more about the program overview, what you need to do to be eligible and gain access, walk you through enrollment, and then we'll talk a little bit more about how to track your performance on the program as well. So with that, first let's start off with a little bit of background on Walmart two-day. So free shipping is kind of no longer nice to have in e-commerce. It's pretty much table stakes and has been since 2017. And that's when we launched free two-day shipping on walmart.com. In 2018, the program was extended to all our marketplace sellers. And in 2019, we're actually ramping that up. And that's part of this, this effort here. So what are some of the key features of the two-day program on Walmart? So first of all, what you'd like to notice is that you can choose to do it either nationwide two-day, or you can enable it regionally for certain settings, for certain regions. So the advantage here is that even if you're unable to fulfill nationwide, you can enable it for certain areas geographically where you are able to fulfill two-day. The advantage is that you get a two-day shipping flag, which leads to increased product visibility, and it leads to you showing up higher on search rankings, as well as in filter settings. And then it also leads to buy box prominence. So you show up over other folks that are selling the same product as well. So let's dive into this a little bit more. So as you can see on this screen, the two products on the left have the two-day flag, and you show up much higher in search rankings, as well as when you're browsing organically. And you also are included in filter inclusion. So if for customers that are browsing using the two-day shipping filter on the left, you'll be able to show up on those search results as well. So here's what it looks like from a buy box perspective. So you definitely get shown up higher on the buy box compared to other sellers. And that's one of the advantages of having two-day shipping available. So let's talk a little bit more about how to enroll in the program. So there's two options that you have there. You can choose to either ship yourself, and this is the seller fulfilled option, and you can do this either nationally or regionally, or you can participate through our vetted 3P partner Deliverr. And they, as Mike will talk about a little bit later, are pre-approved for two-day nationwide on behalf of Walmart. So what are the steps to get into the program? The first thing you want to do is check if your account is eligible in Seller Center, and then you request access and enroll in the program. After that, you have a few easy steps to configure your settings for your participating SKUs. And then you confirm that the tags are showing for those SKUs that you've selected. And after that, you can sit back and manage your orders and kind of track your performance over time. So what are some of the eligibility criteria for the self-fulfilled option in case you decide to do it yourself? You want to make sure that you have an on-time shipping and on-time delivery rate of over 95%. You should have a valid tracking rate of more than 95%, and your cancellation rate should be less than 1.5%. You should also have a favorable returns policy, and you should have been selling on Walmart for at least 90 days or should have fulfilled at least 100 orders on there. So how do you request access? In order to do that, you go into Seller Center under General Settings and Shipping, and then you'll see an option to request access to the program. After you click on that button, someone from the program will take a look at your account performance, and you will receive either approval or denial within 48 hours. In case you're unable to meet the high standards that we have, you also have the option to ship with Deliverr, and then you can see there under option 2, you can use the link to go to Deliverr and sign up that way as well. And Mike will talk a little bit more about that going forward. So under the configuration options, you have a couple of different options. You can choose to enable your entire assortment or just a part of it, or just go in and enable select SKUs. And then in terms of the regions that you want to ship to, you can choose to do it either nationwide, or you can select specifically the regions and states that you want to apply that settings to. You can do this at the SKU level, and there's more details on that under the program settings as well. You also want to make sure that you set your lag time to 0 for all participating items in the 2-day program. So once you've done all that, you should you'll make sure that you are enrolled in the program. You have the shipping settings set to 0 lag time for a 2 p.m. cutoff for your local time, and after that, you should be ready to rock and roll. So once your SKUs are up and running, you're able to track your performance. You can look at it on a 7, 14, or 30-day time horizon, and you can track all the key metrics, including on-time delivery, on-time shipping, the valid tracking, and cancellation rate. And we also have periodic reports from our performance team that'll help support you and let you know in case that you're not able to meet these criteria, and we'll work with you to bring those performance metrics up. So with that, let me hand it over to Mike to talk a little bit more about our partnership with Deliverr and some of the options that you have on that side.
All right, guys. Thanks, Sid. And if you guys have questions as we kind of talk about this, feel free to leave them. It's on the right-hand bar. We'll have some time for questions at the end of this. So we'll cover a few different components. We'll cover a few different strategies for selling on 2-day on Walmart, and and then we'll open it up kind of at the end to talk about whatever it is you want to talk about as it relates to Walmart, SellerCloud, Deliverr, how everything works together, or just going broader into selling strategies and case studies. So in terms of Deliverr part, I mean, Sid talked a lot about what is Deliverr. It's essentially an FBA-like fulfillment service for Walmart, eBay, even your Amazon orders. We fulfill any channel you want. We have an amazing partnership with Walmart on their 2-day shipping program, and have some really, really cool data and case studies that we'll talk about today. So, when we first got started with this, we started, putting a lot of items that were in Deliverr on 2-day shipping on Walmart. We started gauging sales lift, and the way we measured sales lift was orders per day, and we looked at what was the orders per day, average orders per day without the badge, then with the badge. And what we saw was that across all verticals, kind of network wide, you see around a 156% improvement in orders per day. This was definitely varied by vertical. So certain verticals like health and beauty, electronics, toys and games, you saw greater than 156% sales boost. But then you had other verticals like apparel, items where you have a lot of variance per listing, and those were a little bit less than 156%. You tend to see like 20, 30% for those. So, it definitely depends on the vertical you're in. And if you have questions in terms of, the types of items you're thinking about, we can, hopefully give you at least some sort of estimate in terms of, how existing sellers have fared. But it's definitely a big change. And this is, when you look at the sales boost here, it's very similar to kind of the sales boost that you get when you add Prime to your Amazon listings versus not having Prime. And so in these case studies, we're going to look at how sellers tested this out and how they leverage this in 3 different ways. First way is, we're going to talk about Earthwise Bags, and Earthwise Bags is a really large private label seller on Amazon. If you're familiar with like seller ratings and Amazon seller rankings, they're around a top 1,000 seller on Amazon. So they came into Walmart completely net new. They had just gotten approved to sell on Walmart, and then they reached out to Deliverr, and we got them on board on 2-day shipping, and we'll talk about kind of what happened. So the way we thought, initially how 2-day shipping would impact sales on Walmart was essentially you would have 2-day shipping. You also get access to the Walmart ads platform. It's called WPA, Walmart Performance Ads. And you'd put your catalog on 2-day shipping. You'd add some ad budget behind it. As a result of that, you get better visibility on your listings. As you get better visibility, you get more sales. As you get more sales, you can put that to reinvest in adding more items on 2-day or reinvesting in your ad spend. And then you kind of have that nice little flywheel. Then what we start seeing as sellers started maturing on the program is as you got more sales, you start getting more reviews and your listing started indexing higher on search on Walmart. And as that happened, that further accelerated visibility. And so when you'd expect sales to kind of plateau around, 300-400 orders monthly, you kind of see that go up to, in Earthwise Bags case, going up to 800 orders monthly. So month 1, they put all their items on 2-day shipping, and you see around 69 orders. It's, just getting everything up out of the way with, putting it on 2-day, getting a little bit of ad spend up. They weren't too aggressive that first month, but pretty conservative. And that makes sense. I mean, you're just putting your catalog up. They had maybe, 50 SKUs or so. It's a pretty small catalog for Earthwise. And, putting up everything and getting around 69 orders. Then month 2, they start playing around with ad spend. And they start getting that inner circle of the flywheel effect going where, you're getting a little bit more traction, they're getting some sales, and they're taking that and they're reinvesting that back into their ad spend. So then you see a pretty substantial jump from 69 orders to 346 orders in month 2. Then month 3, you see the outer circle of the flywheel effect taking place, where now their listings are indexing a lot higher in search, and that's going to really accelerate things to a point at which you would search grocery bags on Walmart and they would show up like 5, 6, 7. At a certain point in holidays, they're sort of showing up maybe 10 different times just for that high volume keyword. And hitting 800 orders month 3, and that's pretty substantial for them. And so that's kind of talks about you want to kind of give it a 3-month a 3-month runtime to see, okay, can I really get this to scale? And now different sellers vary. For certain sellers, I've seen it be as long as 5-6 months. Other sellers, they've been able to get up to speed within 2 months, so pretty fast. But these things take some time. You want your listings to start ranking a lot higher to hold a lot more weight, and for a listing to hold a lot more weight, it needs to have obviously the fast tag, but it also needs to have a lot more sales. Then let's go to Red Fox Retail. Completely different type of seller. This is more of like an arbitrage type seller. So big reseller. They have access to Oral-B toothbrushes, and for them, they were reselling Oral-B toothbrushes on Walmart beforehand, so they were already on Walmart. But it's a pretty competitive search when you look at standard shipping on Oral-B toothbrushes, because Oral-B replacement toothbrush heads is such a high volume search on Walmart or any marketplace. And so what they did is that the moment they activated on 2-day, they floated to the top of search. And then you see the impact on sales for them. And it was pretty substantial for them in that it was around a 300% impact. And this actually happened all within around 10 days. So it's pretty quick because the search impact is almost immediate. And then they start getting a lot more sales on those listings. Those listings get a lot more traction, a lot more weight, and it becomes really hard to unseat them in that first row. So for Oral-B, for Red Fox, it was really huge, and it does speak to a huge opportunity here in Walmart, which is the idea around sourcing name brands that aren't in the 1P or 2-day selection. Oral-B replacement toothbrush heads was in that, but we saw a lot of others. So Method Soap falls in that. You saw Nike shoes. We had a seller come in, they just started selling Skechers. So many different products that you would expect are extremely competitive, because they're extremely competitive on Amazon, but on Walmart, they're just not competitive. And that presents a huge opportunity in terms of, taking those items, sourcing those types of items, putting them on 2-day, and getting in front of really high volume searches. We have a blog called the 14-to-1 rule for selling on Walmart, and suggest that anyone read it. It's really helpful. We've had a few sellers starting to follow that and starting to see some good volume, which has been great. Walmart really is a different type of landscape. And so when you look at your sourcing strategy, you kind of want a little bit of a different sourcing strategy for Walmart than you would for Amazon. Now let's talk about Equinox. And this is kind of talking through, okay, let's say you have an idea on what you want to source, and working through that and understanding, okay, how do I want to test and iterate on my items and on my catalog. And what Equinox would do is they would put an item, let's say they have these this top seller is a kitchen towel. They'd put it on 2-day. They'd run a really aggressive ad spend on it for 2 to 4 weeks. So it'd be at the top of search. You can see kitchen towels. It's like first or second row on search. Get a good amount of eyeballs to the listing, understand what the conversion rate is, and then based on that, they would either remove it or source similar items, depending on how well it did. And so here in kitchen towels, it did very well, and so they source similar items. So here you can see they're sourcing almost the exact same item, going for a similar keyword on kitchen towels. And so that was a really, really intelligent way to go about it, where they kind of had these cycles of 4 weeks or so, where they would test a new SKU, iterate, see how it does, and then they'd go and test new SKUs. So now going into that part's kind of interesting on the case studies and wanting to get it up and running, wanting to get into the landscape here on 2-day. How do you get into it with Deliverr? Sid came in and talked about kind of on the self-fulfillment side, all the things that you need to do. And it's a lot like, getting into self-fulfilled prime. There's quite a bit of, there's a trial period. It's pretty rigorous, and, you can run into performance issues. With Deliverr, all that stuff's managed. And you can kind of think of it as like the FBA for, Walmart, where, you get pre-approved access. You don't need to think about applying the badge or not applying the badge. All that happens automatically. And really the only thing is, managing customer service with your buyers that you have to manage. And so that makes it really easy in terms of getting up and running very fast and testing this out very quickly. The other thing is that you also get access to Walmart performance ads, and that's really helpful. Because for these listings, when you put them on 2-day, you need to get them in front of eyeballs. The performance ads team has really gotten a lot done in the past few months. They just released keyword-based bidding, and that's huge. So you can go on dog bowls here and put a pretty aggressive budget and put 2-day on your item and see how it fares. So now that we talked about that, we'll go and hand it off to SellerCloud.
Hi, it's Esther here. So today I'm just going to go through a little bit about just an overview of what SellerCloud is and how our integration with Deliverr works. So for those of you that don't know, SellerCloud is an order and inventory management system. We manage everything from your catalog, listings, inventory, orders, shipping, purchasing, reporting, and even your warehouse. So to set up the integration with Deliverr, the first step is to add a new warehouse in SellerCloud. Like it was mentioned in the past, it is similar to FBA, where you create a warehouse in SellerCloud to hold the inventory that's in Deliverr. So you give it a warehouse name, the warehouse type, and just create a new warehouse. The next step is to actually create an employee for Deliverr. You can use any email address. It doesn't have to be a valid email address. You just need a separate one for Deliverr. Step 3 would be to get your server ID. You can pull that from the URL that you use to log into SellerCloud. Once you have this information, you go back into Deliverr, and the page where you'll enter your credentials is going to look like this. You put in the username, the password, and the server ID. Okay, so basically, how does this integration work? So the first thing that we do is we import inventory from Deliverr. So Deliverr actually sends us the inventory and it gets populated into the Deliverr warehouse that you set up. We can automatically send orders to Deliverr. It's actually really more like Deliverr's pulling the orders from SellerCloud, and they will pull all the orders that have the ship from warehouse assigned to the Deliverr warehouse. To automatically assign the ship from warehouse to the orders, you can either have a custom plugin built together with, if you have an existing post order plugin, or you can use a generic post order plugin that we have already set up. Just a little bit, the way this generic plugin works is it takes any Walmart order that's marked as a rush order or any eBay guaranteed delivery order, and as long as the items in the order have enough inventory in the Deliverr warehouse, the ship from warehouse is going to be set to Deliverr, and Deliverr will pull all those orders. You can speak to either your account representative or talk to support if you have any, custom requests, or, to go through kind of what your workflow is and find the best option for you. Once Deliverr ships out the order, they will automatically send tracking back to SellerCloud, and from there it will be uploaded to the channel. And that's pretty much everything, all that you need to do to connect it. Yep.
So as SellerCloud mentioned, that contact Deliverr, or you can contact SellerCloud, and then going into the two other components, sending inventory into Deliverr and then opting into Walmart 2-Day in Deliverr would be those last two steps if you want to get up and running. So we talked about step one quite in depth, and then going into step two, sending inventory, creating that shipping plan. You're going to have to send to multiple locations, 3, 4 locations. You can send on our discounted rates or on your own rates. It's going to be really similar prep requirements to FBA. So in terms of barcoding, you can even send with Amazon barcodes on your items. If not, you can send UPCs or use a Deliverr barcode. You're going to see cost previews for everything when you create an account, so you'll know. Make sure to filter by Walmart 2-Day. Those are the special Walmart rates we have for this program. And you're also going to have to fill in box content information. So if you have questions on that, anything like that, just feel free to drop a question on the right question box. So first, we're talking about sending inventory to Deliverr. Then we go into opting into Walmart 2-Day. There's a section in your Deliverr account. It's called Fast Tags. This section is really important because this is what you need to do in order to activate all the fast shipping programs. And so after you go in, clicking into there, clicking Walmart free 2-day shipping, activating that, and following the steps, and we'll walk you through. It's like 4 or 5 steps. It's pretty fast, so you can get it done in like 2 to 3 minutes. And then what you'll see is badge will show up on your listings. Orders will come in. They'll come in and they'll map to that Walmart 2-day rate, and we'll ship those orders. We'll update that tracking into SellerCloud. SellerCloud will update Walmart, and you're good to go. So with that, hand it back over to Sid, and we'll talk through all the Help Center articles.
Yep. So there's a lot of additional information that you can look at. We all give you a little bit of an overview of the program in general. But if you want to learn more about 2-day shipping in general at Walmart, you can go to the link on there. And we'll share. This recording will be available after the session. In order to go into more detail about configuring settings for 2-day shipping, that's if you choose the self-fulfilled option. Then there's some more details as well. As Michael mentioned, if you choose to go through the process with Deliverr, then the process it's a lot easier, and they manage everything for you. And then the other one you want to take a look at, and Michael, you can chime in on this a little bit more. If you want to look more at the pricing options that Deliverr offers, you can take a look at their cost calculator on the website, and there's more detail on the overall pricing there as well.
Yeah, play around with the cost calculator. It's really fun. Just put in any items. You can put in an Amazon URL, and it'll tell you what the Walmart 2-day cost is. And that's really nice. It's really easy. Also, if you just create an account, it'll tell you exactly what cost previews are. But guys, yeah, I think for now, let's open it up to questions. Leave questions on the right-hand side, and we'll go ahead and start picking them off. So, I saw one here around reimbursement policy. What is the Deliverr reimbursement policy for items that are damaged in the warehouse? What does that kind of look like? Today the way we do it is it's through a claims process, same as FDA in terms of, we would file a claim with the warehouse or with the carrier, depending on where the issue was that we've identified. And if they reimburse us, we would ask you for the cost of good, at which point we would reimburse you. We are looking on a full, in terms of what an actual insurance program would look like. We are investigating that in terms of what that would look like, but right now we don't provide actual insurance. It is a claims process, same as what FDA does. FDA is a claims process the same way. But we're constantly testing out new initiatives and iterating on that to see what's the best way in terms of a way of making sure it works for us and works for sellers. Then there's a question on DSV. So I'm on DSV. How do I get into this program? Unfortunately, through DSV, you cannot get into the program we're talking about today. If you wanted to get nationwide 2-day coverage, you would most likely have to either go 1P, or you could go 3P through the marketplace side. If you want to create a 3P marketplace account, you can do that. I believe you just reach out to the marketplace team and just file out another application. Sid, do you know the process? Because I know we've had a few guys who've done that.
Yep. I mean, feel free to reach out to us. There's a separate team that handles the DSV applications on Walmart. But if you reach out, we can put you in touch with the right folks on that team.
Yep.
Okay. There's a good question that came through. So, can we enroll selective SKUs through Deliverr and keep the other listings seller fulfilled? If so, what's the process? So that's actually a very good question. And the way you do that is if you integrate via SellerCloud, then you have the option to split your inventory. So you can keep your existing inventory on Walmart, and then you can select through the Deliverr integration which SKUs you want to put on 2-day via Deliverr. And that's actually a very good strategy. Kind of going back to what the case studies that Michael highlighted earlier, a lot of sellers start off by testing out a few of their fast-moving SKUs on Deliverr, and then they enable everything else that they can deliver regionally on 2-day. Since if you can do it anyways, you want to take advantage of that because for no additional cost, you're anyways delivering within that time frame. And then you kind of experiment with your fast-moving SKUs and kind of figure out the ROI over there. You take advantage of the nationwide 2-day shipping as well as Walmart performance ads, and that combination over there works really well. And then we've seen several other sellers kind of start off with a few SKUs and then ramp their inventory on Deliverr. And Michael, you can go into a little bit more on that if you like.
No, I think you got it in terms of testing out a few SKUs. It's really nice through SellerCloud. You can do all those things, which is great. And I recommend you kind of put on, usually a good way to test it out is putting on your top 3 or 4 SKUs. So let's say your top 3 or 4 SKUs move 10, 15 units a day. You put something like that up and see how they improve. And then based on that, figuring out, okay, are there new SKUs you want to test? What are some of the things that make sense? And then kind of expanding from there. Sellers, it depends on your layout. Some sellers have their full catalog on Deliverr, and others kind of just use it for certain components.
Yep. And just a quick caveat, right now, if you integrate directly with Walmart, then you would have to put all your inventory on Deliverr. If you integrate directly with Walmart.
Correct, yeah.
So we're working on inventory splitting, but that's in the works currently. And, in the next few months, we should have an update for you on that, where you can integrate directly with Walmart via Deliverr and then still split your inventory.
Anything else, guys? All right. Anything we missed, Sid?
Here's a question. How does Deliverr handle orders when there's insufficient inventory at the Deliverr warehouse?
So I believe this is actually more of a SellerCloud question, right? Because if you had inventory elsewhere, it would reroute to SellerCloud, correct?
Yeah.
It'd reroute to their own warehouse.
Yeah, so the generic plugin, like I mentioned earlier, actually will not send the order over to Deliverr if there's not enough inventory in the warehouse. But let's say, like, what would happen if we did send an order that for some reason there was not?
Oh, if we did send an order, and let's say, there's been a inventory movement for some reason, what would happen is the order would just get flagged in Deliverr as saying, hey, we're out of stock. I believe there's a red tag that goes on the order that you can even search by. And then we'd say, hey, we're out of stock. Please ship this order yourself if you have inventory. If not, just cancel the order. And I believe you also get an email when this happens too.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, folks, keep the questions coming. We still have. We'll be on as long as we see questions coming through. So,
any questions on performance ads, how they work, anything like that? I don't think we've gotten anything there. Keyword-based bidding just launched. It's pretty cool. Anything around that? Nope. All right, guys. Well, I think if those are all the questions, we should wrap it up.
Yep, sounds good. Thanks everyone for attending, and if you have any other follow-up questions, feel free to reach out to the folks on the call and via the links that we have available as well. So.
Yep, and then if you want to talk to someone at Deliverr, you can live chat with us also right now, or you can go and schedule a call on our calendar and book and talk directly with a sales rep. Awesome. Thanks so much, guys.
Great job, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.